And the tip is controlled by Minnesota. Hi, I'm James Gumbert, Commissioner of the USQRA, outgoing Commissioner of the USQRA. Seated next to my immediate left is Gabriel Garcia from the Texas Stampede. We're calling today's match between the Sharp Edge and the Minnesota North Stars.
Minnesota.
That's easy for you to say.
That's Coach Gumbert rapping already on the mic. So we've got Minnesota with 2-0 up on the board right now.
Okay.
Lee Mercado, number 8 for the Sharp Edge with the lead pass up to Jeffrey Odom, number 2-1 for the Sharp Edge. Brings our score 2-1.
Ball's inbounded. Looks like it's going to Jeremy Brown with a deep outlet pass to Ryan Ingleby, but ball controlled by Sharp Edge.
That's a fast guy, that number 21.
Some people say that in the United States, Jeff is the fastest player in a straight line that we have.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I believe that.
Now, if I remember correctly, Gabriel, you and Jeff were teammates for a year, if that's right.
That is correct. I believe that was the 2010 season. Jeff came down from Arizona, moved to Texas, and actually happened to find himself a wife in the great state of Texas.
That'll happen. They got those beautiful women down in Texas, and it often works out that way.
It worked out very well for him. He now obviously lives in the San Diego area, the greater San Diego area.
Of course.
Yes. And two really good teams we've got here, Coach.
Yeah.
This is San Diego, the Sharp Edge. They are seeded number 3 against Minnesota. Just snuck in to the 8th seed for the Division I.
A little bit of controversy about that, Gabe.
Yeah.
Many of the teams in Division I kind of felt like that they, as you said, they were sneaky sneaks in getting in there, and they played early this morning to a very close game with number 1 seed Portland Pounders, who, by the way, they are the only team, that being Minnesota, that beat the Pounders this season.
Oh, wow. That's a little bit of information there. I wonder whose pockets they were stuffing to get to that 8th seed.
Back to the action. We've got Minnesota now with a 2-point lead against Sharp. Sharp has made a line change. No, they're still playing with the starting 4, I believe.
Starting 4, number 8, Lee Mercado. 21, Jeffrey Odom. 11, that is Andy Cohn. And good old number 12, all the way down from the Great White North.
Andy Zimmer.
Yes, sir.
The Zimmerman.
Yes, sir. In your scorebooks at home, it's marked down as number 16, but he's wearing number 12.
Fair enough.
San Diego Sharp Edge going from left to right on your radio dial.
Oh! Timeout right here in front of us. Lee Supermercado
And
calling timeout with a lot of pressure being applied by Chuck, the Assassin Aoki.
that is a heads-up play.
Very headsy.
Heads-up play. With the Assassin coming in, about to blow him up on the sideline, and he just had, he had the know-how to call that timeout, if you will.
That's right.
Yeah.
He felt the pressure.
A little Jedi mind trick, if you will. Using the Force.
Okay, we're coming back to the action. Lee Supermercado inbounding from the sidelines with 29 on the 40-second clock.
Otherwise, could be known as a shot clock.
Some people call it that.
Yep.
Ball controlled by Andy Cohn.
Andy runs into a stiff wall.
Oh, right off the top of Supermercado's head. Illegal player. Referee Karen Banfield is got a call here.
Uh-oh, and look at that. Number 10.
Number 10.
Jeremy Brown coming over to the sin bin.
That's right, Jeremy Brown in the sin bin.
The no-no zone. You should not be. A very bad move.
If you're over here, you're not where you're supposed to be.
That's right. You can say leaving your team hanging on the court.
Yeah, many people do say that.
And there's a turnover.
Ball controlled by Ryan Ingleby, a 3-on-4.
This could be up to the Assassin.
Oh, the Assassin. Many people would say that Jeremy just should go ahead and hang out here. They're playing they're playing just as good with him over in the sin bin.
That's right. I believe he's got a minute of rest time, or until the other team scores.
That's correct.
And luckily, the Minnesota No Stars were able to take that away from them. And there's a lead pass.
It is. Lead pass to Jeff Odom.
That's number 21 for the Sharp Edge.
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about these players here today, Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
We go through. We covered the Sharp Edge, but let's talk about Minnesota. We got Chuck Aoki, who is a 3-5 in the States, part of Team USA, went to London.
Paralympian.
Currently on the team going to defend, they're actually defending the American Zonal coming up in October.
Where's that going to be, Coach?
That's going to be in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama.
Beautiful.
And we have number 12, who is actually an import from Canada, Travis Morale. He is a Class 2-pointer, a relatively newcomer to the game, 1-5. The guy you see inbounding quite a bit, Ryan Ingleby. Ryan Ingleby, number 15. And then finish it out with Class 1, Jeremy Brown, who we've just been talking about. He's on Team USA at the moment as well.
Better be careful, Coach. He seems to be Mr. Penalty this weekend.
Well, he's got his hand in the cookie jar a couple times. Back to the action.
The Assassin's got the ball up top. Pass over to Travis. And a little bit of a give and go to number 15.
Ryan Ingleby.
Lee Mercado inbounds for the Sharp Edge.
A lot of pressure by the Minnesota North Stars. Forces a timeout by number 11, Andy Cohn.
Coach, some would say he had nowhere to go.
So there's many that would say he had nowhere to go. While we have a few seconds here, Gabe.
Yes, sir.
None of this is going to be possible. None of the games that you see here on iHigh are possible without the incredible sponsorships that our good people here in Louisville have been able to bring forth, and it's a good time to say thank you to all of them. some of the ones that we look at and we say are chair manufacturers, they're huge. Vesco, Excalibur, Melrose, Eagle, all of them. I mean, they're as much a part of the game as the people pushing up and down the court.
You know, Coach, we hear a lot of times that these, chair manufacturers, they give a lot, not only in a monetary form, but also just with their time, efforts in putting these chairs, back together for these guys.
Yeah.
And also helping out as staff for a lot of the teams. Sometimes these teams travel and they don't have, let's say per se an equipment guy to help them out with busted tires, bent axles, bent frames, and a lot of these manufacturers they go to these tournaments and they do that for them.
Well, and you're right there, Gabe, because a lot of times, our sport has come from being played in the backyards of subdivisions to where we're on the main stage at convention centers in Louisville, Kentucky, and the athletes are athletes now. They don't talk about it, they are about it, and the thing that gives isn't the heart of the athlete, it's the equipment now.
That's right.
And without a great equipment person, you can find your best player sitting on the sidelines.
Absolutely. So a big thank you. Oh, speaking of, I think we might have a pop tire out there. What a segue.
Exactly.
What a segue. I tell you what, you can't plan this any better.
No.
Sitting on the bench, we figured we'd go through the rest of the teammates for each team. Sharp Edge has Paul Richardson, number 9. Paul is a recipient of the .5 class deduction.
Is that correct?
He is marked as a 0.
Well, interesting segue with Paul is that Paul's a part owner of Vesco Metalcraft chairs.
There you go. So Paul is not only invested in the game, but he's invested in the sport with all the craftsmanship that they do. Also on that sideline for the San Diego Sharp Edge. Oh, actually, we just got a Sharp Edge change. Number 6, Dan McCauley. Excuse me, I couldn't get that out. Number 4, Albert Moscona. Chuck Aoki, the assassin, making easy work up the court, brings your score to 9 for the Minnesota North Stars and 4 Sharp Edge. Lee Mercado making his way back up to the court. Oh, with that pass, it's unfortunately mishandled.
I'm not sure how many timeouts Sharp has left here. They burned through a couple. Maybe one more.
Maybe one. I might ask our statistician, Kelsey, do you happen to know the timeout situation for the Sharp Edge? And that's I believe that was an I'm not sure by our very nice volunteer here at the games, Kelsey. And she's got a friend with her, but I don't know her name. What was that? Sheena? Lovely volunteer, Sheena.
While we've gone down the bench at Sharp, let's go ahead and cover the bench over for the Minnesota North Stars.
Absolutely. On the court, you've got Chuck, Jeremy, Ryan, and Travis. You've also you've got Brad Schrammel over there, the Shram. Some wanted to call him the new ShamWow, but you can't take that name away from Mr. Mike Schamberg.
No, there's absolutely no way you can make that.
The Schrammel or the Shramster.
Well, just say junk.
He's known for the word.
He is
junk, and a fabulous man. They've also got Ken Walsh, Eddie Brosnan, Scott Sellant. I hope I've said that correctly. Sitting over there. And yeah, that's
another goal by the Minnesota No Stars, pulling our score to 11, Minnesota 4 Sharp. Tenacious defense being displayed out here by the four on the floor for Minnesota.
Is Jack Black in the house?
Possibly.
I think I might have seen him. We've got the Sharp Edge inbounding. That's Dan McCauley to Albert, ahead to Lee Mercado.
Super Mercado with a goal.
El Super Mercado. Oh! He almost went over. Able to keep his balance.
Now, what's the rule on that when somebody goes over, Gabriel?
Well, there's a couple of situations there, Terry, excuse me. If a player is on his way over and he's got the ball in hand, if he goes over without touching anybody and without saying anything, that's a turnover.
Okay.
If he has that ball in his lap, is going over, still doesn't touch anyone, and calls timeout, he retains possession. Of course, you're wasting a timeout on that, but you're keeping possession.
Is it really wasting if you're maintaining possession?
Well, okay, all right. You're the coach, sure. Let's go with no. If you're on your way over and you happen to touch, that was a hack-a-shack right there.
Foul. Referee Karen Banfield.
She saw it.
She did.
Witnessed.
It looked like body-to-body contact there.
I mean, that was a...
Albert Moscona, looks like he might have caught Travis on the arm there.
Arm, nose, / head / upper torso.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Albert in the sin bin and immediately out with that North Star score. North Stars 13, Sharp Edge 6. But to finish up the player falling over, if that player has the ball in hand and holds on to another player's chair to keep himself from falling, that is a turnover. That is holding.
Good to know.
Cannot do that. That's a no-no.
There's not a lot of things that we have that are no-nos in this sport, but that is one of them.
Very true. Very true. A great pass by Travis up to the assassin. Another score. We've got 1:40 left in this first quarter. There's a great pass by El Supermercado. Dan's getting a little attention.
Oh,
no!
My goodness!
And there's a fabulous pickup by.
Yep, that was Ryan
by
Ingleby.
Ryan.
That's correct.
Up to Chuck. Chuck wasting a little bit of time off the clock there, going back and forth. And tell us, Coach, why is he doing that?
Well, part of the thought behind it is that you want to ensure that you have the last goal, so you want to be able to retain possession. And with the 40-second clock that we use, there's a time frame in there that you can look at, and somewhere around 58 down to 40, you can almost guarantee that you can get 2 possessions out of it.
And I was a little bit of miscommunication there. I think Supermercado was trying to take over the ball from his teammate Dan McCauley there.
Okay.
And Andy Cohn is not happy. They've got Chuck pinned in the corner there. Great pass up to Travis, making his way through traffic, looking for a pick. And he pulls out. Pulls that ball out again. Trying to take the ticks off the clock.
Ooh. almost a nice little turnover there, but Chuck maintains the possession. Going to go for the last goal here with just 5 seconds. He scores it. There's 5 seconds left in the first quarter. See if Sharp has a play for that.
Looks like they're trying to deep ball it, and the assassin touch. Ball turns over.
15-7 Minnesota.
Wow.
Looking at our scoring leaders for the first quarter, I have Chuck Aoki with 7, Travis Morrow with 5. For the Sharp Edge, Lee Supermercado with 3 to lead all of the Sharp Edge scorers.
I think they're being conservative in the first quarter right now, Coach. I think they're taking it easy. I think they're gonna bring the thunder here in a second.
While we have a few minutes, let's go down some more sponsors' names here, if we could. Coloplast, Spinergy, Metro Parks, the Rojo Group, Fusion Medical, Fraser Rehab, and, of course, CNR Medical. CNR Medical is going to be the sponsor for the banquet this year. Our 25th anniversary as an association.
25 years.
25 years and going strong.
Quarter of a century.
A little history for you that late in the 1980s when the sport started here, they probably only had maybe 4 teams
around the country,
to which we have saw a peak of around 46, and right now are at 42. And it's an incredible testament to the growth and popularity of the sport from where we've come to where we are now.
Absolutely. Just goes to show you that there's a lot of people out there who want to stay competitive, want to do something.
Your attention, please.
Your attention, please.
Brad Junk Schrammel
entering the game now. Number 4.
The Junk.
4.
Brad. The Junk Schrammel is on.
Junk Schrammel, ladies and gentlemen. Please mark your playbooks down.
Calendars or playbook?
Playbooks. Brad, a transfer to the North Stars.
Yes.
From
your Texas
Stampede.
Of course, now Brad is a homegrown player for the Minnesota team. He's actually originally from Minnesota, and so he's gone back to his roots, so to speak.
Yep. Gone up there and made an impact on that team immediately.
Yep. Well, it's obvious. I mean, his presence has brought about a resurgence in their...
I mean, last year you didn't hear much about the Minnesota North Stars. With Schrammel in the lineup, they've gone from 0 to hero.
Worst to first, if you will.
We've got a score of 17-8. Minnesota North Stars over the San Diego Sharp Edge.
There's Jeff Odom showing a little bit of that speed that we had been talking about.
I tell you what, he's quick. When you get him going north to south, like you said earlier before, I believe the fastest player in the country. And there's that left hook from Brad Schrammel.
There it is.
That half-court pass, I mean, just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's up to the assassin for the score. 8 minutes in each quarter, Coach. We're down to 7:16 in this one. Second period.
Now, Minnesota is elected to run a defense this quarter that not a lot of teams really rely on. It's a Goldie, but it's an oldie with falling back into the key. And that type of defense, if you play it right, takes up so much space that it makes it virtually impossible for you to score. And a testament to the hard work and tutelage of Coach Troy McGurk.
The McGurk.
The sharp edge is able to go ahead and score against that tenacious
defense.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. However, that you might have seen that last play a little porous. So they may still be putting that together.
Well, Gabriel, in these types of games, you know, we look at them when there's 40 points scored in a quarter by each team. That's 40 opportunities for defense that fail.
This is true.
Coach McGurk calling a coach's timeout over here.
Maybe wanting to go over the key offense.
Potentially.
For Minnesota's key defense.
Now, this game is actually kind of a pivotal game for us. The winner of this game will advance to the medal rounds, if you will. They're both. Well, I checked that. We have a game tomorrow, but today's game is pivotal because you have an 8th seed going against a 3 seed.
Yep.
If the 8th seed was able to win this game and then win again tomorrow against the Lakeshore, then they would be looking towards the medal round at that point.
Okay.
With a crossover.
Okay. That's number 8, Eddie Brosnan, on for the North Stars. Passed up to the Assassin. You know, Coach, there's 16 total teams here, national championships for the USQRA. Division 1, obviously kind of the best of the 8 within the country. Number one seed, Portland Pounders. Number 2 seed, Phoenix Fusion. The number 3 seed, your Sharp Edge right here. Number 4, Homegrowns, Texas Stampede. 5 are the Tampa Generals. 6 are the Lakeshore Demolitions. 7 are the St. Louis Rugby Rams. And 8, the Minnesota North Stars. Those are all your Division 1 teams going for that national championship in D1. A lot of competition on the court.
Well, as we said earlier, you know, we've come from such a small place to now you're on the big stage in convention centers, Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, if you will. Right. And playing before fans and friends to playing before sold-out venues. And it's if we do our job out on the court, the people see the chairs as a way to play the sport as opposed to just being in them.
That's right. A lot of these athletes, too, I can say, on a lot of the teams, both nationally and internationally, Paralympians. The competition is so thick on a lot of these teams. And you might have just saw number 4, Brad Tremmel. He had number 12, Andy Zimmer.
Andy's a Class 1. Brad's a 1-5, of course. Many people have talked about Brad in his early days was a Class 2. Going down to 1-5. We all remember the controversy behind it. But he seems to have maintained his classification at this point.
Andy Zimmer, not a bad one as well. One of the faster ones.
That's correct.
In the country, able to hold his own. But Brad just eating him up, and he's doing it again. I believe that was the great debate of 08.
Could have been.
Could have been. Maybe a little earlier.
Might have been 06. Brad's 06. A little long in the tooth now. Back to the action. We have Minnesota with a 10-point lead, 23-13. Looks like the Assassin reached on him, on Lee Mercado, and we now have a 9-point game. So Sharp by no means are out of the game. They're going to need to pull together and play smart They've got 2 quarters, 2.5, 2+ quarters to get that done.
Yep. Lead pass up to number 4. Schrammel. He's on the board. He's in the books. 4:25 left in the second quarter here. 24-14. Andy Cohn, a little trouble getting that ball out of his lap up to Jeffrey Odom. There's a lead pass to Lee Mercado, and that is picked up by Minnesota North Stars. Chuck the Assassin Aoki with a lead pass up to number 8, Eddie Brosnan, for the score. We've got substitutions coming in for the Minnesota North Stars. Number 6, Kyle Peterson, and number 3, Ken Walsh. Looks like there's also a timeout on the sidelines. San Diego Sharp Edge taking that timeout. I believe it's a coach's timeout.
Okay. One of the things to remember with our sport is that, in a tournament like this, yes, we have 5 games in 3 days. Yes, there's a number of players on each team, but a lot of teams are short on experience. Minnesota being one of those. They've only got 4 or 5 strong players that have been to the show before. And so they're going to probably be looking to go to their bench a little bit more, maybe get some of these guys a rest for some of the big games tomorrow.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see if Sharp does that, or if they fight it out and try to finish this out.
See if they can bring this back.
Yeah. They don't need to get 9 points back in 2 minutes. It's a situation for them if they win the second quarter by a couple points, win the third quarter by a couple points, put themselves in good positions. They have the opportunity to get back into the game.
Absolutely. Couple turnovers, and you're there. Still a 10-point game, going to a 11-point game, 26-15. Minnesota North Stars. Jeff Odom putting some tough defense on the Assassin. Inbound pass by Dan McCauley, trying to move his man, Andy Cohn, up the court. There's a pass to number 21.
Speed. That's that speed that we were talking about right there.
It's just breakaway amazing.
Hard to contain.
It is, very much. Chuck Aoki with the inbound pass, the little give and go back to number 6, Kyle Peterson, making his way down. Lead pass up to number 8.
Kyle's one of the new young guns. He's out there trying to make a name for himself. He doesn't start a lot of the games, but he's a role player, comes in, feels the need, and he's doing a fantastic job out there right now.
Handling his own, if you will.
He is. Again, another pass over to Jeff Odom onto one of the legends of the game, Dan McCauley. And it's interesting that we're talking about legends. If you have time Saturday, do yourself a favor, tune in to iHigh just before the Division II game.
Yes.
We are going to be hosting the first ever Legends game.
Legends game.
And that Legends game is going to feature some of the pioneers, some of the dominant players of the sport, Hall of Famers, if you will. It's going to be a treat, a little bit of a throwback to get some of these guys that we've heard about in lore and in book out on the court one more time.
In lore and in book. Some of the great stories. Andy Cohn real close to that half-court line.
Nice pass there from Andy on to Jeff.
Now, what would have happened had he gone over that backcourt line, Coach?
Well, just like in basketball, we have a over and back violation that if a ball being maintained by the offense goes back into the backcourt, it is an over and back with a side out for the other team.
Okay. And just to mention that treat of a game on Saturday, April 6th, the Legends game is going to be at high noon.
Well, yeah. And how appropriate is that? I mean, if we went any later, the guys would probably be asleep.
It'll finish just in time for the senior citizen special at the Luby's.
At Luby's, I believe they had the blue plate.
That's right. Just in time for supper, and then in bed by 7. It's a lead pass.
Now, if you've noticed, there's been a lot of just trading goals back and forth.
Yes, sir.
Not one team really taking advantage of this opportunity on the other. It's more of an even game at this moment. Mm-hmm. As we talked about earlier, you're looking at a potential at least 2-point shift right here. If Sharp Edge could control last goal, have the arrow so they'd have the ball coming back out, that would pull us back to maybe within a 7-point game. Just chipping away at the scoreboard, not trying to, get it all at one time.
Mm-hmm. You might have seen that was Andy Cohn, always coaching on the court.
Andy is a special player. We here in the association have been able to watch Andy grow and become an incredible leader. And for his classification, Andy gets the most out of his body, just like you saw right there. Nice little dish off to the legend Dan McCauley. And, he gets the most with the function that he has. It's a treat to watch.
A little bit of Harlem Globetrotter right there.
That's him.
Dun, 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 dun. A great over-the-back pass by Andy Cohn to Dan. Minnesota moves the ball down, scores. 44 seconds left in this second period.
Right.
Score is 32-20.
Now, 44 seconds is 4 seconds more than the 40-second clock on the game. And will Sharp go down, score with almost nothing so that they can guarantee they're going to get the last goal, or will they just go ahead and take the points?
I think they're going to go ahead and take the points.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to do that. Now, let's see the gamesmanship that maybe Minnesota brings here.
I think Minnesota's going to make their way down and trying to get that score, but will they hold it for last goal? And it looks like they might be working that.
You can hear Chuck the Assassin Aoki screaming for last goal. He understands.
He wants that ball. He wants to hold it.
He wants that ball, and he wants to make sure that they get that last goal and don't live. Well, they leave 7 seconds on the clock.
Wow. Well, Dan McCauley left the court early.
Okay. Now, what does that do to the...
When the offensive player has the ball in possession, facing the goal.
Oh, my goodness. Just very quickly, Chuck Aoki... No. Referee Karen Banfield whistles the 49-year-old .5 from Ken Walsh from Minnesota and says that no, he did not have possession. But what a steal! He was looked like he was going to be wide open, and Jeff Odom throws the ball, and the assassin just slips in there and does the dirty work.
That's why they call him the assassin.
That's it,
Coach. This is the court number 2.
Yes, sir.
Of 3 courts.
Okay.
Playing today. We've got a couple other games going on, right now on these other courts. Our Division 2 teams, the Las Vegas Renegades, are playing the North Texas Stars. North
Texas Stars. That's correct.
Out of Dallas, Texas. And I believe that score is 40-32.
Okay.
Renegades. They're playing on the court 1 right now. Tomorrow, for your entertainment at home.
Okay.
We've got a few games lined up on this second court that are going to be webcast. First game in the mornings at 9 a.m. Seattle versus those North Texas Stars.
Okay.
Then we've got a 10:30 game. The Portland Pounders versus the Sharp Edge. That should be quite the matchup. And then at high noon, Denver versus those Vegas Renegades.
Okay. Now that's Division 2, and we had some games earlier today, and if you got to check them out. We thank you for tuning in. But if you didn't, here's a few scores from previous games. U of A, University of Arizona, played the team from Indy to a 58-46 win. We also had earlier today, let's see, your Texas Stampede was able to beat the
St. Louis Rugby Rams.
Rugby Rams, thank you. I wasn't like I was there. They won by 8. I think the final score was 50-42.
Okay.
We also had University of Arizona playing Tier Texans from Pasadena. That was a 47-43 U of A victory.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled them to 2-0 on the day. We had Sharp, the team you currently see out here, playing the Lakeshore Demolition to a 62-53 victory for the Sharp Edge. Denver Harlequins playing your North Texans Cowboys. I believe the North Texas Cowboys. That's correct. Denver was able to win 51-46. Texas, your Texas Stampede, was able to pull one out against Tampa, 61-46. And in earlier actions, the Renegades from
Las Vegas.
Thank you. Beat Seattle 55-54 in just a whale of a game.
Wow.
And then we had the Shepherd Smash from Atlanta, Georgia, playing Indy, 65-40 Shepherd. Then we go out west and we had your Phoenix Fusion playing St. Louis Rugby Rams, 52-40 Phoenix. And then the game that everyone's still talking about was the first game of the day, was Portland Pounders versus the team you currently see out here, your Minnesota North Stars, 47-46 in a nail-biter.
That was a great game.
It was.
You know, both teams going at it, and some could say, 1 versus 8. The game shouldn't be that close, but you never know.
Well, with bracketology and teams not being able to see one another throughout the season often, a 1 team and an 8 team have that matchup. And we talked about it a little bit earlier that the North Stars are the only team that has beaten Portland.
Yes, sir.
And, for everything that is, no other team here this weekend can say that they've done that.
That's true. That's true.
Got on any given day, you can go out there and win, is what the old coach says.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Some of the, you mentioned some of the scores from earlier today from some of our Division II
yes.
Teams, and those Division II teams are the Denver Harlequins, the Shepherd Smash, the Las Vegas Renegades, the U of A Wildcats, and that's the University of Arizona. We've got the Seattle Slam, Tier Texans, the North Texas Cowboys, and the Indy Brawlers.
We're back to the action. Lee Supermercado.
El Supermercado
is inbounding to Albert Moscona. Sharp has come back with the line of Jeff Odom, Supermercado. The referee's blown the whistle. It looks like we're resetting everything.
El Supermercado did not throw the ball in correctly.
It looks like he's
going to have to try it again.
He's going to do it again.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. But joining us for the first time today is Paul Richardson.
Yes, sir.
As you mentioned earlier, Paul is one of our legend players, over 45.
Number 9.
On your scorecard, number 1 in your heart.
Number 1 in your heart.
And as you know, as we sit here today, and I look around.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone.
Obviously, something has gone awry.
Someone is going to get hurt out there. We've got a number 8 spinning.
And what happens with the spin?
Well, El Supermercado came behind the axle of the opposing player and forced him to kind of go off his axes, if you will. Spun him and made him tip over.
Gabriel, we're joined here by tournament director Jill Farmer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jill Farmer, if you will.
The First Lady of Wheelchair Rugby here in Louisville, Kentucky. And Jill, talk to us about this weekend and what this means to the people of Louisville and how long you've been doing the sport.
This is just an incredible opportunity for all of Louisville to be able to witness such athleticism out here on the courts. I just can't begin to tell you how impressed our city is by the athletes, by the board, by all the things that the USQRA is doing to make it possible for people to play a sport as competitive as this. We're just thrilled to have you guys here. So,
Jill, how many years have you done this?
This will be my 7th year hosting this event.
Woo!
And we've been happy to do it. We have.
Do you ever get tired of it?
No. I love this sport. I love these teams. I would do it as long as you all would let me.
Well, we certainly remember playing out at the fairgrounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And those were the glory days.
Yeah.
And we've moved to this beautiful facility here at the Convention Center and located down in the incredible downtown district of Louisville. And you've opened your hearts and welcomed us in, and as on behalf of the USQRA, we say thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I love to do it, and like I said, I'd do it as long as y'all let me.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jill Farmer, if you will.
Now back to the action. What's the score here?
Well, we've got the Minnesota North Stars 35 and your Sharp Edge 23. 6:55 on the clock. We have begun the third quarter. And a little bit, like you said before, Coach, a little bit of back and forth. There was a spin. North Stars had a bit of a pile-up in the middle of the court with Brad Schremmel and also Eddie Braun. Eddie? No, excuse me. I'm sorry, not Eddie. Kyle Peterson.
Okay. Now, if you will notice, Gabriel, there is one big absence out here on the court.
Are we playing I Spy?
We are actually saying, who do you not see for the Minnesota North Stars?
Who do you not see for the Minnesota North Stars?
Young Chuck Aoki, the assassin, is now, we talked about it earlier, is trying to find a few minutes to get a rest here so that maybe help him in the later rounds. And they seem to have the game somewhat in control at this point, but certainly not over by any stretch of the means.
Not at all. I mean, it is a 12-point deficit for the Sharp Edge, but like you said, this is a game of back and forth. They could very easy. Oh, and that's Brad the Junk Schremmel.
The Junk
handling Lee El Supermercado, causing the turnover, and Schremmel going in for the inbound. I'm telling you, Schremmel is
one of the most underrated players that is in the league.
Underrated players in the league.
And interesting side note, Brad builds his own chairs.
Absolutely. It's really unbelievable. His own craftsmanship, the time and effort that he puts into building those chairs. Not only is he saving a pretty penny, but, he's got himself down. He knows his own measurements. He's able to not cut himself in half, if you will, with some of the equipment, as many would expect a quad, to do.
That's right. That's right.
But Brad's mastered the art, and right now he's got locked up Paul Richardson. There he goes. He's back out. Look at that smile.
Back to the action, 38-24. Minnesota starting to put a few more points up on Sharp at this point. Sharp has a rich history in this game. I know that in the 90s speak about that history, and there's a quick turnover. But early in the 90s. And even early in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, Sharp was able to put a string of national championships, both Division I and Division II together.
Not easy to do.
No. Some of those players you see out there playing for Sharp are are national champions as well as gold medalists. And they're in a little bit of a rebuilding year. They've had an import that's come in. Most of the rugby world knows Riley Batten. He's been their import and has added a lot to their team, and they've elected to forego that these past couple of years, and when they've done that, kind of gone homegrown, if you will.
Which is very nice for some of those homegrown players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give them some time to learn the game, give them some time to get on the court, kind of understand it, and, you know, try to get back to those championship days.
That's right. That's right.
We've got number 4, Albert Moscona in the sin bin. Illegal reaching? Is that what it was?
Everybody's innocent in the bin.
Everyone's innocent in the bin. They didn't do it. And he was actually leaving the court.
Leaving the court.
He did not.
That might be an interesting call that we could cover for our audience there, Gabriel. How does that work out with leaving the court?
Well, leaving the court, there was a little bit of a similar play earlier to get the penalty goal. Albert just happened to leave the court before the ball did. And you can't do that.
I'd like to give a shout out right now. One of our broadcasting buddies isn't able to be here with us at this moment. Bob Bobo Murray.
The best from the West.
That's him. He's coming in on a later flight this evening. You'll be joining us on the broadcast, webcast, if you will, tomorrow. But right now, our love and thoughts go out to Bob Bobo Murray.
God bless him.
We have a timeout on the floor.
Uh-oh.
Coach Troy McGurk is...
I believe he's asking for a
he's
coach's
pulling the entire team off.
Pulling the team.
Okay, he's coming out with a whole new line.
Okay.
All right.
So he called for a substitution.
Either a substitution or maybe a timeout. I don't know how many he had left, but he has put everybody a whole new line, maybe a whole new direction here.
We might be. We've got Andy Cohn, number 11, Andy Zimmer, number 12, Dan McCulley, number 6, and then they've also got number 7, who's not listed in our program. And that.
Oh, number 7, just
out of his reach.
There it is.
Watch out.
There it is.
I'm telling you.
He seems to be everywhere.
And look, there he is again. That's number 4, Brad Schrammel, up to number 8, Eddie Brosnan.
Ball's inbounded.
I think we're going to have to refer to number 7 as number X, Mystery X.
Well, looks like they've called their timeout. Can't imagine they have a whole bunch more in their pockets, but it's a good time for that timeout. It looks like Minnesota's going to take a sub here as well. Chuck Aoki, Ken is rejoining us.
Ken Walsh, that's your .5.
That's him, and number 14, first time on the court.
That's Scott Sellant.
Scott Sellant.
I hope I'm saying that right. If not, Scott, my apologies.
Scott is a big man. Looks like he's got a plan.
Large and in charge.
Yeah, thank you. As you look around this weekend, you know, we talked about that Legends game on Saturday at noon. We have some legends just sitting courtside here. I mean, when's the last time you saw Steve the Punisher Pate?
You know, it's been years.
Yep.
Since we've seen the Punisher out.
And Norm the Machine Laddick.
Norm the Machine Laddick, who this year, first ballot inductee to the United States Quad Rugby Association Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And, Coach, we're now joined by Superman himself, Marty Red Frierson of Excalibur Chairs.
And you know what? It's Marty's working with the Stampede this weekend as their equipment, but he is also one of our sponsors, and we cannot say thank you enough to our sponsors. Our manufacturer sponsors this year are Eagle, Melrose, Excalibur, and VMC Vesco Metalcraft Chairs. Other sponsors that are responsible for us to be able to even get out here on the court are Coloplast, Spinergy, Metro Parks, the Rojo Group, Fusion Medical, and of course our host, Fraser Rehab.
Absolutely, and you can't forget about CNR Medical.
No, CNR Medical is definitely stepped up the plate the last 2 years. They're going to be responsible for our banquet. They were responsible for our banquet last year, and so we hats go off to them for sure.
The Assassin just tried to lead pass up to his teammate, number 8, Eddie Brosnan, and just behind him, he couldn't reach it.
Your attention, please. Lee Supermercado is coming back onto the court. Not sure who he's coming in for.
I believe number 12, that's Andy Zimmerman.
Andy Zimmer, okay.
He's going to be taking a break, a breather. Number 7, Mr. X, is going to be inbounding.
We still don't know who number 7 is.
No.
Ball inbounded to Lee Supermercado.
And Mr. X is calling that he's out. He's being picked by Eddie Walsh over there. There's a lead pass, too.
Tough pass. You know, these guys that are in these chairs are quadriplegics or have impairments in all 4 extremities. And the things that you see them do, they make it look easy, but even they have trouble catching those passes that are behind them.
They do.
It's no different than any other sport.
No difference.
7 is Jared.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have figured out who number
X.
7 is.
Mr. X.
Mr. X has now been identified as Jared Evans.
Jared
Evans.
There's a great pass and score to Andy Cohn, number 11, brings
That's
your
right.
score. Minnesota 43, San Diego Sharp 27 with 1:55 left in the third.
Both teams at this point are kind of resolved to looking at things for the future, if you will.
Yes.
Nobody's really giving up, but they're trying to work on, whether it be Minnesota trying to work on new people, getting some people some rest, or Sharp trying to find maybe another line, maybe another player you can, plug in here or there that'll help you. Maybe some in this game, but it's a fresh day tomorrow. They could come out and be world burners tomorrow. So
That's right.
yeah.
Well, they're looking to get some of their players, some time out there.
That's right.
As you said. And number 14, Scott, coming for the inbound.
Well, you can confirm.
That's the inbound pass to the Assassin, Chuck Aoki. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Our man on the mic, Terry Gumbert, has stepped away for a moment. However, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend. That's Marty Red Frierson from Excalibur Chairs. Marty, what do you think about the competition here this weekend?
The competition here this weekend's been tight. Everything's been fairly close all across the board. There's some good games going on in the D1 and the D2. It'll be a fight tomorrow to see who advances on for first, second, third, and fourth, and then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So I'll have some pretty tight games tomorrow, looking for some big hits, and just getting it on.
Yeah, I don't know if you folks at home can tell, but Marty here is our mouth from the south. He's from the Atlanta area, a little bit east of the Atlanta area, correct, sir?
A little east, yes, sir.
A little east. And
there's a lot of young talent out here on both sides this weekend. Everybody's picking up the game very nicely. The benches are getting deeper as we see it. More people's coming out to play. And it's just a awesome opportunity out here for these guys to be out here and play in the sport.
Gumby and I were just saying that, both San Diego and Minnesota, some of their key players right now taking a break, taking a little bit of breather, kind of maybe regrouping for tomorrow. They each have a couple key games coming up. So they're not really pouring it on to each other right now. Just with some of the players that they've got out there. Not to discredit anyone's ability, but just some teams are getting some court time. Some players getting some court time, learning the game itself, learning some strategy, kind of figuring out what they can do better. But as we get back to the action, 38 seconds left on the third period clock. Minnesota 46, San Diego Sharp 32.
And this is a real crucial time in the game right here with 35, 40 seconds left to go in the game. How do you react? You always want to try to get first goal and last goal. So it gives them a chance to work on something. Let's see what Chuck does here with the ball. If he'll kind of settle his team down and get the last goal of the period here.
Looks like he is going for a few ticks, trying to put people in position. San Diego applying a lot of pressure right now. Dan McCauley, here comes Andy Cohn. And Chuck just trying to get back down to that key to where he can just easily push in.
It is. And then,
that's it.
Oh, what?
Well,
no
hold
goal.
on. That is not a goal. El Supermercado, Lee Mercado, illegally left the court. I believe he thought Chuck Aoki was going in for the score. However, Chuck pulled out, and Lee went in.
Let's see if Minnesota can capitalize on this right here.
They got 2 seconds left. There's no shot clock. Uh-oh. We've got a lane violation.
So It really has not worked out for either team.
No, it hasn't. It did not work out for Minnesota. And now San Diego Sharp Edge find themselves on the deep end of the court, not being able to capitalize on that turnover.
Oh, first and last goal is important. If you get both of them, you win by 8 at the end of the day.
So true. We've got end of the quarter. That's the third period, folks, in the books. Minnesota 46, San Diego Sharp Edge 32. And, Red, we need to take time to mention our auction that we've got going on.
Yes, the manufacturers, all Melrose, Eagle, Excalibur, have all put up a chair to be auctioned off here. Make sure we get out there and we bid on the chairs. Spinergy Wheels has donated a few sets of wheels. Make sure we get out there and get the wheels. They're all going at great deals. If you need a chair, right now is the time to get one. Give you time to get it adjusted before the season gets back up and rolling. Place your bids and be strong on it. Keep an eye on the posts and, help out the sport here.
That's such a great opportunity for young players looking to get into a chair, to try and go for that bid, because you can get, as a player myself, these chairs aren't cheap.
No, sir, they're not. They do run up in a couple thousands of dollars, and getting a good deal on one is your first chair is the way to go.
Yep.
Because your first chair is not always going to be your best chair. So I would really advise trying out, as many chairs as you could, hopping over in something, trying to get your first chair to be as close to your best chair as you could. Sure.
Right now on that auction, we've got a set of Spinergy wheels, courtesy of Fusion Medical, priced at $300.
That is a sweet deal on a set of wheels. If somebody don't jump on that right now, they are crazy.
Yeah. An Eagle chair right now. There's quite a lot of activity on that one. It's 46 bids. Highest bid right now is $2,075. The bid right now is at. Oh, excuse me. Oh, if you'd like to take a look at some of the, or to make a bid, you want to go to quadrugby.com, and you'll be able to see everything that's there, and then you'll be able to bid from a link on quadrugby.com. Ladies and gentlemen, number 4 on the shirt, number 1 in your heart, that's Brad Schrammel. Junk Schrammel. That Eagle chair bid is $2,075. Another set of Spinergy wheels, courtesy of Fusion Medical, is at $271.56.
Ooh.
Some business on the Excalibur chair. Highest bid right now, $16.25. Vesco metal chair, $32.50. Melrose chair is $25.50. And another set of Spinergy wheels for $305. Man, that is a steal right now.
That is a steal. I think we got a lot of people out there holding off to see what it's going to go for, but they might want to get their bids in now.
Yep.
Because it's going to get tight there toward the end of the day tomorrow.
Do we know when the auction is going to be ending?
The auctions will be ending on Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
They're kind of staggered, but they will be ending.
Okay. All those so be sure to get in and get your bid for a chair or a set of Spinergy wheels.
Now, Gabe, is that any kind of Spinergy wheels that they want, or do you know if it's an everyday wheel, a rugby wheel?
I don't have the information on that, Red, but I will work with our statistician here to get that information.
Well, we will try to find that out for the end of the game here.
We've got Minnesota 45, Sharp Edge 32 with 7:17 here in the fourth quarter left. We've got a new line for a Sharp Edge. Jeff Odom, Lee Mercado, Albert Moscona, and there he is, the man himself, Paul Richardson, marked as a 0.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, you got 3 experts out there, definitely.
Yep. For the North Stars, Brad, the Junk, Schrammel, number 4, is out on the court, along with his teammates Kyle Peterson and Eddie Brosnan, and also Ryan Ingleby. San Diego in their infamous key defense right now. 2 players happen to hold. And there's a fantastic little dish to Ryan Ingleby for the score.
And Gabe, I really think you're starting to see here's a lot of the veterans out there with a lot of the young guys, and the veterans are smart. They're playing good ball, but the arms just ain't quite as light as what they used to be years and years ago.
That's right.
So they're really going to have to step up the game and play good ball in order to come back here.
Yeah. Well, this is the fourth quarter. I think Minnesota is going to not take a breather, but take it a little easier than they would normally.
They pulled out Chuck. Chuck, get a little breather for tomorrow.
Yep. Travis is on the sideline as well.
Yeah. Oh, man down. Brad the Drunk Schrammel.
Oh, no.
Just went down.
Brad the Junk Schrammel. And as you can see, those helpers that we so need all the time out there picking Brad up, riding the ship, if you will. I think he's okay. I think he's all right.
I think he's going to be fine. He's back in the mix.
And there's that speed demon, Jeff Odom.
Yep.
Going baseline to baseline, matter of 7 seconds.
I say jump.
Ryan's got the ball down deep.
Looking deep.
Up to Kyle, and there he is right there, number 4.
He is the outlet.
It's the Schrammel. He's got the score.
And Odie with the ball, pushing up court.
Jeff Odom trying to make some space between him and Kyle is actually keeping up with him, doing pretty well. Odie's got the ball back from Lee, coming around for the score. Pulling it to 36-50. We've got an equipment timeout on the court right now. Number 15, Ryan Ingleby, needs a tire.
We've got 5:42 left in the fourth. Minnesota 50, Sharp Edge 36.
This timeout brought to you by Excalibur Chairs. Excalibur Chairs. Push with a reason. Here we go.
Ball's in.
Ball's in. Trammell leading the charge up the court. Kyle Peterson following his pick as you're supposed to do, and gets a little bounce in. You've got to bounce the ball, Marty.
That is in the rules. It's 10 seconds. You got to bounce.
Every 10 seconds you got to bounce or pass. And you've got to get that ball across the half-court line in, I believe, 12 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Oh, is there a pick? There's a pick right there. Kyle Peterson just cherry-picked that right out of the sky.
To Ingleby and then to Brad Trammell again for the goal.
That's teamwork right there. That's not the triangle offense, but let me tell you, teamwork will help. Albert Moscona's got the ball with a deep outlet pass to number 8, Lee El Supermercado. And they've got a penalty goal for that one. Number 4, Brad Trammell inbounding the ball. Long pass intercepted by number 4, Albert Moscona for the sharp edge. I don't think he's going to try that again, Marty.
Probably not. We've got 4 minutes and 57 seconds left in the fourth. Minnesota's 52, sharp edge 38. Big pressure coming here down low.
There's a lead pass to Trammell. And a great handoff up to number 6, Kyle Peterson. Albert with the inbound pass to Lee. Gets tied up. And back over to Albert. Uh-oh, be careful.
Looking for over and back.
Be careful. Does not go over and back.
But he does give the turnover.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, that was some great pressure by the North Stars.
Now, Gabe, I've got a question. Did 2 of the guys on Minnesota's age equal up to Albert's age?
Did 2 of the... I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either.
I do not believe so.
If you were to take Ryan and Kyle, would it equal up to Albert's age? I was out there holding his own with a bunch of these young kids out here nowadays.
Showing them how it's done. Giving a clinic, if you will, sometimes. Back to the action. There was a little pause in game. Odie with an errant pass, but Albert's able to pick it up. Heads up. Oh, and that's knocked back
just all around.
Kind of a little bit of a ping pong going on out there. And we've got Minnesota's ball off an orange chair, if you will.
We've got 4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth. Minnesota 54, sharp edge 38.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time on that clock for Minnesota to pull.
Absolutely.
Pull close.
For sharp edge to tighten it up a little bit. 4 minutes is a long time to play.
That's right. There's a great pass by Ryan up to Kyle.
And what is so important at this point of the game is you use your clock very wisely. You know, taking your time, you're up, nothing stupid. You know, and trying to burn as much time as you can and going goal for goal or getting a few turnovers.
Oh,
there's another turnover. Still going Sharp's way, but that could have been another turnover for the Minnesota North Stars.
Jared, back up a little more, Jared. Kelsey doesn't mind. Sharp edge with the inbound. Number 21. Jeff Odom's got the ball. Minnesota playing the
And a long pass over the top.
Key defense. And back to Odie. It's a
little give and go there at the very end.
A little bit of hot potato. I don't want it.
No.
You take it. And they're able to score. Minnesota inbounding the ball. Oh, be careful.
Ron Ingleby calls a timeout. There's a little bit of pressure on him there. He did the right thing.
He sure did.
You can't take those home, will you?
No, sir. No, you cannot. Minnesota is not taking their timeout. It's staying on the court, continuing play.
Well, they are up right now by 14. And Ingleby with the ball, passing it out to Brad. Brad pushing it down the court. Turns back under, back to Ingleby. Looking for some open room.
Look. Kyle Peterson's got the ball. He's moving his way down into the key. Pass up to...
That would be number 8.
Eddie Brosnan.
Ball into Albert. Albert pushing up court, looking for open room to run. Looks like he
pick.
might have it. Ball's deep to Jeff Odom. And Jeff Odom for the score, number 21.
It brings us to 56-40. Minnesota North Stars. Schrammel's looking for an outlet. Gives it up to Kyle. Kyle's looking for a little help. Back to the Schrammel. Taking it home.
And the games tomorrow, Gabe, will also tend to tighten up a little bit. There'll be some pretty close games tomorrow. Everybody moving forward in the tournament here. You know,
they sure will, Red. Pardon me, Marty. The some of the games tomorrow, going on court 1, a great game. The 9 o'clock is going to be your Division I teams, the Phoenix Fusion against the Texas Stampede, and then also at that same time the Tampa Generals going against St. Louis Rugby Rams on court 3. And right here on the court 2 is going to be Seattle versus North Texas. But that court 1 and court 3 game, I tell you what, that's going to be some really hard-hitting action.
That's going to be a slobber knocker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another good game on the docket for tomorrow is going to be Portland and San Diego Sharp. The Portland Pounders are number 1 seed, and these San Diego Sharp Edge number 3 seed. And then after that, Marty, we're going to get into the crossover games.
Tell you what, Portland's got a lot of talent on their team, a lot of speed, a lot of veteran players.
They do.
But Sharp Edge does too. It will be a good game. It's just going to see who can hold out, and who can use the clock to their favor.
Yeah.
And just keep the pace. I mean, it's fine to go goal for goal, and like I said, first and last goal is important. So you get those 2, and you go goal for goal. You win by 8 at the end of the day.
I tell you, it probably will be that close. Being at the Portland Pounders, they've got a few Paralympians on their team, not only locally but internationally, as well as the Sharp Edge. So it's almost the talent on both teams is as deep as it can be. And like you said, it's going to be a slobber knocker, I believe, is what that term was.
That was the term.
Okay, good. Glad I got that out. San Diego Sharp Edge inbounding the ball. Jeff Odom with the pass over to Jared, number 7, past Mr. X. And an errant pass. That goes out of bounds. That's Minnesota's ball.
A little too fast right there.
A little too fast. And number 4, Brad the Junk Schrammel with the inbound. That's into his teammate Eddie Brosnan. Over to number 6, Kyle Peterson with the score for Minnesota.
And we've got 1 minute and 13 left on the clock. Minnesota 60, Sharp Edge 43.
San Diego's going to try and make their way down to get a quick score. Eddie's running into a little bit of traffic. Good pass up to Jeff Odom. Number 7, Jared, has the ball.
And Jared gets the goal.
You know, with 53 seconds left on this clock, I want to go ahead and mention the Sharp Edge coach is Troy McGirt. Their support staff is Tom Vesco, Willie Kaoli,
I believe.
Kaoli.
Yeah.
Willie, I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. And also Carolyn Odom for the Minnesota North Stars. Their coach is player Chuck the Assassin Aoki. Assistant coach Jeremy Brown. Support staff is Tom Peterson, Matt Engleby, and Andy Aoki. And again, you know, without the support staff, I tell you what, all us players would be up a creek.
Kind of sitting up on blocks with nothing to push on.
With nothing to push on.
And I would also like to say that Tom Vesco, the support staff from Sharp Edge, is also the owner of Vesco Metalcraft. Built some great chairs.
Who has donated their chair for auction.
Yes, sir.
Quadrugby.com.
Been doing it for several years now, and we say thanks to Tom for that, for his support.
Thank you very much, Tom. Brad Schrammel with the inbound to teammate. Kyle Peterson making his way down the court. 18, 17, 16 seconds. I think they're just going to let this clock run out, Marty.
I think they ought to go for last goal, give them something to work for and practice it. Like I said again, first and last goal.
And that goes to number 8. Eddie Brosnan, he gets the goal with, the clock is running still. And we've got...
Looks like his forward momentum stopped and Albert crossed the court. They were looking for a penalty goal to get another chance to get another goal, and apparently they did not get it.
That is what they call a legal player leaving the court.
So we got 5 seconds or 3 seconds left on the clock. Minnesota 61, Sharp Edge 45. And Minnesota is setting up in the key to try to get the long inbound over the top to get the last goal of the game.
See how this goes.
Schrammel's in the key, Kyle Peterson and Engleby, and off of Peterson.
Man, I tell you what, the pass was there.
Pass was there.
Should have had it. As your football coach used to say, hitch in the hands, they should have caught it.
Should have caught it. So the ball goes back over to Sharp Edge, and Sharp Edge falling back deep, trying to hit the long ball. Ball in from Modi.
Oh, we've got an illegal player. Oh. No. Uh-oh. We've got a little bit of miscommunication between the player in the sin bin and the referee. You can only come back on the court, Marty, if the other team scores or if your minute of penalty time is up.
That is correct.
And unfortunately, neither of those happened.
And he came onto the court early, and he argued with the ref, and he served a technical for it.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, the refs make the rules. It's not your point to argue with the ref. Leave it up to the coach.
That's right. Well, Marty, a pleasure being here with you today. This marks the end of today's action. Minnesota North Stars 61, San Diego Sharp Edge 47. And again, we've got a huge lineup of games tomorrow beginning at 9 a.m. On this court, number 2 being webcast, Seattle Storm versus the North Texas Cowboys. At 10:30 is the Portland Pounders versus the Sharp Edge. 12 o'clock is the Denver Harlequins versus the Las Vegas Renegades. And then beginning at 1:30, 3 o'clock, and at 4:30, there will be the crossover games.
Oh, the crossover games are going to be important. So stay tuned tomorrow morning. Keep up on the action. It's hard to say what those next 3 games are going to bring, who's going to be on the courts. So make sure to follow us, and we will see y'all again.